I've raced with ours recently.
Well,
I think
welcome
I might have raced with
everybody.
him just
We
about.
are live on YouTube with OBF1, and it's multiplayer Monday night. We're looking forward to getting going, but we've had a few little glitches, so hopefully we'll get those out of our way pretty soon. Lobby's built up, and we're ready to get going. You'll see why we've been jokingly referring to this as the Power Ranger League, because we have a green, a blue, a yellow, and a red team made up of 4 or 5 drivers, and we are looking forward to seeing what race 2 ends up looking like and how everything starts shaking out through the season. My name's Webbo. I'm your commentator tonight, and joining me in the commentary box is my friend and good and very experienced F1 racer. In fact, so experienced he just made it to the lobby 2 minutes after finishing his own league race. It's Carrera fan again.
Hello, good to be back with you, Webber, and ready for round 2.
Yeah, I know it was a testament to how much fun we had last week on this very stream, because you signed up for streaming this one immediately after we finished. We got done. So obviously you enjoyed yourself last week.
Yeah, definitely. There was so much to look out for when we think that Team Blue, especially after that second safety car, P1, P2, and P3, it looks so good for them. But then it just turns around and it's so unexpected. So it really proves that anything can happen in the race.
No, absolutely. We had top drivers up and down the grid, different safety cars, all kinds of different stuff going on. With regard to the teams, it was the green team that prevailed at the top of the standings overall last week with 35 points. But then equal to them was the blue team. They didn't get the win, but they came home with 35 points as well. So we have a joint first place in the championship right now, followed by the red team on 23. And the less said about the yellow team's race last week, the better. They came home with only 9 points. But they do have a full complement of 4 drivers tonight. I think we've got 4 drivers from every team. I'm looking down my screen. No, we've actually got an extra one for yellow. So they've got a 20% extra chance at bringing home more points this week. And they've also got, I think, Harvest is substituting in to take part in the yellow team. In terms of the drivers' standings, the drivers' standings are obviously exactly what the results were last week. So we had Little Jim, the winner, followed by Taylor with the fastest lap as well. So he took home 19 points for that one. We had Chris Samet in 3rd for the blue team, and CDMJW in 4th place for the blue team. We've got Mosher, Steve Ventino, Fatia, Paul Harrison, SR Sanchez, and Mr. Spin making out all the point scorers from last week. But what are your sort of standout memories apart from the various glitches we experienced at all the safety cars, Carrera?
A lot of, as you say, Mr. Spin, we saw a lot of spins from a certain driver. Won't name the driver, but as well, Lil Jim looked like he had serious pace in Barcelona. So, of course, sometimes there could be a track preference. So, it's we don't know what to expect as well. But it as well proves that we do one-shot qualifying. It's so crucial to get that lap in, because you're not going to get a second chance.
Exactly. And this is also one of those tracks that not many people spend a lot of practice time on. I know whenever I've tried to online game, which isn't very often, let's be honest, I don't get a huge amount of chance. But whenever China comes up, it's quickly voted off. So definitely a track that will catch out people who haven't given their equal time to all the tracks.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes you can make around China. You can definitely go way too wide into turn 1. You can kind of swoop back into turn 2, but of course, it's a very tricky track. They've got to manage it all, and they've got 2 very long straights, so they could potentially option for a high or a high top speed setup, but then of course there's so many fast corners, so they need that downforce, but then it will cost them in the straights.
Absolutely, and of course, one of the longest straights on the calendar, um, which will catch out anyone running too much downforce. So balancing that setup is absolutely key. Not a lot of bumps here though, Carrera. Quite a bit of elevation change, but the track doesn't tend to suffer too badly from undulation on the micro level.
No, I think the real challenge for our drivers tonight is probably going to be sector 1, that turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3. As well, that corner just before that mega long straight as well is going to be a little bit tricky, the way you enter and the way you exit it.
Talking of
So,
tricky, Carrera, have you seen your screen? It looks like we've got some drizzle. We haven't got the weather forecast as commentators, but it looks like we've got some drizzle in the pit lane.
yeah, that's going to definitely raise a few yellow flags for our drivers as well. It depends. We don't know if it's going to get heavier. Who knows? Only the drivers do. But if it is, they're going to have to get out now and put in their laps as we speak.
Absolutely. Well, what we'll do is we'll stay with the fastest driver, and perhaps you can talk us through their lap, and I'll skip to the fastest driver because this is one-shot quali.
Yeah, Harv and Chandler do seem to be swapping around. Red team looking strong, but green team coming back. But red team P2 and P3, of course, the middle of the field all changing. We don't know who can get this pole position right now. It's only until this qualifying ends. But it's so tricky, so drivers are going to take different lines because it is wet and the drivers need to find the most amount of grip, especially in the rears. Currently looking on Chandler, losing a bit of the rear, and he's dropped down to 6. He was one of the contenders for pole just a minute ago, but he's dropped down a bit. Blue team seem very, very midfield, P8, P9, P10, P11, and P12. But of course, red team and yellow team and Lil Jim starting to make his way up back through the field. So it's all to play for here.
Half driving a cautious, but certainly balancing everything very well at the moment. Just getting on that power on the way out of this really difficult bank turn. As he heads down the straight, he has maintained his lead on this lap. I think he might well have done enough now because there's only sort of one big stop and a flick to go as we head down. Pick your braking point in these brand new cars in the wet. Beautiful into the apex. He's got this really hooked up, Carrera.
Yeah, he's got to get it just to the line now because each corner is different when it comes to rain on the surface. But he looks like he's got it, and he crosses the line, and it's a 1 minute 42.371.
Fantastic. We had a prediction from Break showed up on YouTube, and he was predicting Taylor was going to bin it. Taylor did not bin it, but he did lose half a second to Harv's fastest time. And you'll see the field spread as a natural result of people getting it a little bit wrong, people just going overly cautious maybe. Really interesting to see what everyone's thoughts are. Chandler says he was feeling slow on that lap, but I really do think that that Harv will have this in the pole position. Here he is then for the yellow team, exactly what they needed after a shocker of a race last time out. So Harv takes the win. It takes the pole position with Taylor in second, Paul Harrison, Steve Vintino in the yellow team as well. Then Little Jim, last week's winner, in 5th place. Fatia, CDM, M Chandler, and then a trio of blue cars hoping to not get in each other's way at the start. We've got Martin, Chris Samet, SR Sanchez, then following them from 12th, Mr. Spin, Pistol, Eat My Dust, Antoine, Golden Wolf, Mitch, and Broke Gorilla will start from the back for the blue team.
It's a very tough situation for Team Green. Although they do have Lil Jim in top 5, the rest of his teammates are outside the top 10, and that's going to be crucial for the championship.
Absolutely. I can see the championship standings changing around completely after this race by the look of things. It does look like the Blues are in for a fairly solid result if they can, like I say, stay out of each other's way. It looks like maybe the rain's cleared up for our race start.
Yeah, it's better, but it's still not convincing because it's still quite dark, and there are clouds hovering around. So
Are they clouds or
the
are they
rain could
Shanghai
just start
smog? It's
now.
very difficult to tell the difference.
Yeah, but I think as well there is some clouds around. As you can see, it is looking fairly grey. So it's not confirmed. Of course, it's a long race ahead of us. It's 50% we run on, and so who knows if the rain could come back to the end of the race.
Well, we are going to get going immediately. Remember, this is non-formation lap. Well, it's lights out, and away we go with Hav from pole. Taylor in the reds, and his red teammate Paul Harrison behind him. But it looks like a good start from Little Jim in the middle there, coming down into this tight, ever-decreasing circle. So Little Jim remaining there third place, and we've got Stephen Tino and CDM. Got a safety car immediately, Carrera. Did you see what happened from the back?
Yeah, the Team Blue all made contact with each other. One of the Team Blue cars had to take avoiding action, took damage, and of course that is why we've got a safety car, as Martin is out of the race. But I don't think the other two blue cars have a penalty or have damage, I can say. But
I'm just looking at Broke Gorilla, who dropped backwards as well, and no, in fact he made 2 places up, but he's broken his front wing during the safety car period.
Yeah, that
really
must
struggled.
Ooh, and there was close avoiding action from Broke Gorilla, currently on board. But as well, lots of cars already getting penalties. We've got 5 drivers with penalties, and actually Broke Gorilla's got two sets of 5-second penalties, and he's overtaking Mitch. So it's a very odd thing going on in this Grand Prix right now. But we were expecting that. A lot of things could happen, but the predicted stop strategy is saying a 2-stopper, going on to 2 sets of mediums if you're on the soft, and then going to a set of hards later on.
That will all presuppose, of course, that we're in for a dry race. I'm not entirely sure that we are. As you say, it's quite dark out there. But you can see now, as you look at the track, with all the cars coming down the start-finish straight, you can see why it's being referred to a lot as the Power Ranger League. Fatia is heading into the pits straight off. We've also got Sanchez going in. I'm sure Broke Gorilla will be heading in as well if he hasn't already picked up a penalty for overtaking under the safety car conditions. Not quite sure how that's all going to work out, but it looks like we're going to live with the safety car for a little while longer. Can get an idea of who's managed to get some sponsors on their cars, who's managed to match each other in their team. I don't know if they've just gone for kind of a random matching go. It looks like here CDM-JW has got a French sponsor on the car. I don't think they've been as sophisticated as providing multilingual sponsors, do you? Welcome to Lightning, FedEx, to break, Lewis, Taylor, and I think Dowdek has even stopped by just to enjoy the stream with us tonight. These guys come to support the stream, support the channel. If you're watching on stream, take a moment, give us a like or a subscribe, make a comment, tell us if you're enjoying it so far, and what are your predictions? Who are you cheering for? Who do you think is going to walk away with this one? Has Hav got it in the bag, or is he going to have challenge from the likes of Taylor, Little Jim, possibly CDM as well, who all showed strongly last week? I haven't seen this halo decoration before, this sort of snakeskin one, Carrera. Is that a Bitcoin purchase?
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it. It's interesting in my opinion, but yeah, it's something different to the drivers, and we'd love to see that. So
absolutely, yeah. Limited design choices are available to the drivers. They can just about choose their sponsors, the helmet, the gloves, and their halo decoration. That's about it, because they are on fixed livery, so that we can instantly tell who's who. Lewis says Taylor's going to win this one. That's a good prediction. Well, Lewis got in there first with Taylor as a prediction there. But yes, unfortunately we are going to be watching another safety car lap. Shame to see Martin out so early. It was last week, Carrera, when we were watching OBF1, when we got to lap 16 with not a single retirement.
Yeah, it's around here. It's very tricky to follow around, especially sector 1 as well as other parts of the track. So there can be some points where you can easily make an overtake, but there are fast corners, and again, if two drivers don't leave enough space, then they can just take each other out. It's that easy. So they've just gotta respect one another and try and keep it on the track.
Correct, as usual. It looks like Fatia's really lost out pitting when he did. He's lost down 9 places. Sanchez sat down 6. Little Jim did make up 2 from his starting position. So when he got 3 wide into the first corner, and he was the middle. Very, very risky place to put yourself, but it certainly came with a reward of getting up 2 places. And then we've had a trio, Mr. Spin, Pistol and Eat My Dust, all making up 4 places, with Golden Wolf and Mitch up 5. And of course Chandler is the one that's dropped down as well. You don't get people gaining that many places without someone or multiple people losing lots of places as well, unfortunately. But there's still 25 laps to go of the Shanghai circuit. The lights are still on. Are we expecting those lights to go out? Or is it too late in the day, Carrera, for the safety car?
I think it should have been. If the safety car is coming in this lap, I think it should have already happened by now.
Yeah.
But it is possible for the safety car to take 3 laps. And we'll know now when the safety car does stay out. But as well,
Yeah.
another interesting thing to point out is when does Harv, on the safety car restart, when does he put that throttle down? Does he do it before the final corner? Does he do it on the exit of the final corner? Or does he wait until the line? So, because he's got two rivals behind him who can definitely challenge the win here. So
yeah, you know those two are going to be
wisely.
wide awake when it comes to the restart. So yeah, picking that moment tends to be. Carrera, do you tend to favour when your rivals behind are on full lock and can't put the power down? That's your moment to go.
Well, it depends, of course, the track. If you can get away with it in the final corner, then do so. But remember, it's a very long straight, so if he doesn't get as good a launch that he thought he could have got, then it's going to hurt him back into turn 1. So
Yeah.
he could get away with it if he goes later on the main straight. But then the question is, when does the other cars behind react? If they react just before you, so he's just got to manage to create that gap out of that final corner. If I had to say, the best solution around here to get away is probably out of the final corner when they can't get the power down, but you can.
Yeah. I think my gut would tell me to go on the apex of the hairpin, the penultimate corner. But I think that's perfectly legitimate as well. We've got a few drivers who've gone onto hard tyres already. Fatia and Sanchez have gone to hards. Safety car will come in, so we won't be forced to watch any more of this. Eat My Dust started on hards and is up to 10th place, Carrera, so that should be interesting, and he shouldn't have as much difficulty heating up those who've been through a heat cycle. But you've got a feel for Fatia and SR Sanchez trying to get those hard tyres switched back on after this restart.
Yeah, we've also got 2 soft runners, which is very interesting. They've decided to stay out, so P11 for Golden Wolf and P13 for F1 Antoine.
Yeah.
So they've just got to... They'll be very sporty coming into this next phase of the race. So, of course, depends when do they pit and what strategy are they going to go. So the majority
Harv is out of the final hairpin, Carrera, so he hasn't gone. He's waiting. I think, yeah, he's actually gone under braking before the final corner, but he brakes, tries to catch the other drivers out, just stuttered there, stutter start, and little Jim is right in Taylor's mirrors. Will he take a dive down the inside? He will. Overspeed, gets underneath the car, but that's going to cost him in braking grip. Nice move. They're leaving each other space as little Jim gets the outside, soon becomes the inside, heading up the hill now. Nice little sequence, and really triggered by what Harv did on the restart. Any action further down?
Yeah, very good battle with CDM. Got past Steve Juventino, so very close. But I think Harv knew what he was doing. He was actually backing them up, and that gave his teammate a shot to come at Lil Jim and Taylor. So maybe that was the plan all along, but we don't know.
Yeah,
but
there could well be in a team party. There could be the yellow team party coordinating that one. But to me, it looked like he stopped, went, which is a little bit frowned upon.
Yeah, he looked like he went into a very low gear but high rev, so he must have done something there to put the rest of the field off. But as well, Eat My Dust, we were talking about him on the hards. P10 was looking very good for him, but he's dropped down to P17. I think it was just a spin. I did not see anyone with either a spin or any contact.
I can't say I'm surprised that Steve Antino dives down the outside. He's forced to the outside by...
Harv's in the wall!
In the wall for Harv.
Harv has just got it turned around, but he's hit the wall as he got damaged. He's going to box. He stays out, but he's lost again. The rear's
he's turned
not
it round.
No, push.
Absolutely no major damage. It doesn't look like on his car, but he opted to not go in the pits and ended up turning it around a second time on the start-finish straight. Big drama for our leader Harv and our pole sitter. Let's hope he can channel all that energy. No, he's definitely struggling with downforce. There's definitely some damage to the car, Carrera. He can't get it turned in. That's changed the shape of the race. No end.
Yeah, as well, but when he took that first spin, of course you always want to get back under power and try and lose as little time as you can, but he was just too greedy with the throttle, and he just spun it around the second time.
It's so hard to get the cars back under you when recovering.
Yeah.
Pressure of a league race, and you just want to get moving.
Yeah, all he's got to do now is just get those rears back into the temperature window right now.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to have any front wing damage, unless it's very minor. So I can't see anything that could
I think he's got some problem, because for me he just couldn't get the car turned in turn one. Bit of action between green teammates here on the start of the long straight. Mitch getting by Golden Wolf. Looks like those red soft tyres really fading for Wolf. Let's see if Wolf heads into the pits. I'm not quite sure on the tyre life of these soft tyres for the drivers under these particular conditions, but surely they've got a few more laps in them to go yet before it's the ideal pit stop time.
Yeah, I'd expect them to go around lap 7 or 8, but of course we had that safety car for 3 laps, so I'd expect them to go around lap 10. But we do see a pitter at half, so he must have knew those rears were completely gone.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting what tyre he goes on now. I doubt he could make the hard to go to the end. It'd be very difficult.
Interesting development for Harv. This could work out for him. You never know if we're going to get further safety cars, and he'll be one stop to the end. But Taylor now getting pretty close up behind Little Jim, although in the high downforce, high speed turn section, that obviously drops back a little bit. We're hoping to stay with him through this snail shell like corner that never has a single spectator in it, in those massive grandstands. 0.8 of a second away, and I think they should get DRS pretty shortly, so I think Taylor will be within range. DRS opens up, and that lead of Little Jim is dropping now pretty much by the yard, down to 0.7 now as they get into the hairpin. Let's have a look further down as Fatia gets by his yellow teammate. Looks like that was a quite nice, easy, cooperative job there. Fatia on completely different tyres, so making those fairly young, hard tyres work to his advantage against the 6-lap-old medium-running teammate, Mr. Spin, who I don't think yet has in fact spun.
Quick update on Harv. Harv has option for the soft tyre, so he must have known that he did have to do a 2-stop. I didn't think a 1-stopper going to the hards would be possible. But this could play out well, because he's in clear air, so he can just push. And he's got his teammate actually on the main straight giving him slipstream and DRS. They're actually going past now, and an easy move for Harv. Definite tyre advantage for him. Easy move, and he is up into 16.
Let's check out then. So Harv currently 46. Oh, we've lost Little Jim.
Spun.
Little Jim goes round. just as I was planning to have a look at a different metric, Little Jim spins round. I don't think he was helped. I think that was purely by himself. Taylor did well to stay away from it. And Little Jim for the green team, last week's winner, down to 5th place.
He's got a long straight coming up ahead, which could
He's
have
got
a
around
mini spun.
It's
Can he keep it out of the
these
wall?
cold tyres. He has managed to keep it out, but he's absolutely stranded in that grass section, and it looks like Harv will be joining him pretty soon. Pistol screams by on the main straight. His teammate up to P11 now for Pistol. But yeah, it's just these tyres getting them back up to temperature. Carrera, what a nightmare.
Yeah, they weren't in the window, and then he obviously gone way too hot from that first spin, and we saw it with Harv, too aggressive on the throw. I thought he was going to have a good shot to cooling them down because he has a very long straight, so he doesn't have to put much pressure on the rears. But of course, that's a very fast corner, so just too much temperature and lost it. We've seen it with Harv, but he doesn't have to
got
change
Chandler and Mr.
strategy
Spin just rubbing wheels on the way out of turn 1 here. That's Mr. Spinning for the yellow team and Chandler for the red team. Interesting point of note here, Carrera, while we've lost Little Jim and Harv further down the order, we do have our 2 leaders who are on the sort of default strategy, both with 5-second time penalties. I wonder if that's going to play into the game later into the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention, just a moment ago, Harv lost the rear again. He's given his position back to his teammate in the final corner. So it's just not helping Harv at the moment.
I thought he looked lower down.
Very tricky. It seems very tricky, the conditions on the rear tyres, whether that be on the softs or the mediums or even the hards. There was a spinner as well, Team Yellow again from KRC.
Wow. It's, yeah. The yellow team do have an advantage of an extra driver this week to try and help them further up in the points battle, but it's not working out as Mr. Spin is in 7th place, and their highest runner is Steventino in 4th, and then of course they make up currently the 14th, 15th and 16th place drivers. Very, very unfortunate. It looks like Steventino though challenging here for the podium, coming up behind Paul Harrison, and who knows if they can keep these keep their noses clean from the stewards. They're in a really good position further down into the business end of the Grand Prix. Looks like Taylor and CDM will potentially serve those penalties in the pits though.
Another spinner, KRC again, Team Yellow. They just look like they're struggling so much on these rears. As his teammate Harv's going by him, and he's going to have Antoine coming up behind. But as well, top 4 is very, very interesting because they're all very near each other. So one can pull an undercut. They're all on the same tyres, so one can pull an undercut and put all of them at threat. Yeah.
We're on lap 10 of 28. So we're over a third distance already. This has been frenetic despite the fact that we had 3 laps under safety car conditions. Absolutely action up and down the field. You never know quite who to be watching because I keep missing these yellow team spins, unfortunately. Pistol now in 11th, looking at Little Jim behind him. It looks like he's let Little Jim go through because we did see Pistol scream past Little Jim, but I wonder if those tyres, the differences in those tyres has just started to affect Pistol a little bit more than Little Jim. Anyone heading for the pits at this stage in the race? No, they're going to need to be very careful though, choosing when to pit.
Just want to mention, Mitch has had an amazing drive, made up 12 places. Of course, we have a few spinners, but still, very good drive from him, up to P5.
Brilliant. So, contender for driver of the day at this stage in the race. Mitch having a strong drive, top green runner at the moment. I don't know whether he necessarily would have been planning on that going into the race today. The green team only represented by 3 drivers at the moment.
And broke Gorilla into the wall. currently riding the gravel. He's going to get lapped soon by Taylor. And I think he will soon.
Okay. Yeah, 37 seconds back from the car in front. So far, this not proving to be a race to remember for Broke Gorilla. He's had a catastrophic brake failure, it looks like, Carrera, and he's out of the race.
Question is H. Taylor going to pick, because that could bring out a safety car, but is either the 10, and he's spun! He's lost it on the curb! Taylor has spun!
Devastating.
That's dropped him back so much!
Yeah, and Paul Harrison, CDM, Stuventino, Mitch, and what a worse place possible to make a spin like that when you've then got the whole of the rest of the of the lap to go through before you can try and do a pit stop. If you have damaged the tyres or damaged the car. Did he make contact with the wall or anything?
No, it was just too much power on the curb, so it really takes his right rear tyre off, and fortunately dropped it.
Right, but the wheel is still on, correct? He's not out. He's down in 5th place. Looks like it's, these exit curbs, the absolute curse of this early stage of racing. We've got a VSC, Carrera, VSC.
I think that could be Harv. I don't think he's got a front wing. It looked very weird. He has no front wing, so he's lost it again. In the final corner, he's driving
in the final
without a
corner,
wing.
and now he's in the first corner. So yeah, going further and further backwards. If the yellow team didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. This is just astonishingly bad luck for the yellow team tonight. I bet they were thrilled with the thought that that Harv would be representing them tonight, and unfortunately it's just gone from bad to worse. Drive-through penalty for Sanchez, clocked up for speeding under the safety car conditions. We're back to green flag racing, so we'll rejoin Taylor, who's tucked right up behind Mitch here. Taylor, red mist descended, red team leader in terms of speed anyway, and he gets by Mitch heading into turn 1 using the DRS, and yeah, he's absolutely on a charge now, but he's got it all to do. He's on 12 Loppold mediums. Will they be able to do a medium soft run today, Carrera, do you think, with strategic calls?
Well, honestly, from looking at the amount of spins we've had, I doubt that could be a possibility, because it seems like the rears just go off so quickly, or they're either very hard to warm up. So
Little Jim and Sanchez in the pits. Sorry to cut across you there. That was Little Jim and Sanchez just pitting now.
Yeah, and it's seeming to be very odd, the tyres at the moment, because we've seen so many of our leaders just bin it. We've seen Lil Jim do it. We've seen Harv do it many times.
Yeah.
And we've just recently saw Taylor do it. So it's honestly, at this point, I think the best strategy to go with is probably a hard. But of course, if the mediums are really struggling on the rears, then the hard's just going to be worse. So honestly, it's a very difficult call.
Open to a 2-stop maybe tonight. Well, Mitch is trying to stay with Taylor here. He's just keeping it clean and keeping it smooth and taking advantage of the safety car, of the DRS whenever he gets around the corner. Just opening up that DRS, closing in, not really trying to make a move on Taylor right now, just trying to use him as a very effective slipstream. Gets underneath him there into turn 1, but just the physics of that corner mean that Taylor can carry more speed in, and they'll open up the throttle once again up the hill, quickly then pointing back down hill again as they head for that first hairpin. Taylor looking a little bit less on the perfect racing line, you have to say. Really potentially struggling on lap 13 with those tyres that he's had on since the start. This is your closest battle, just about on the grid at the moment, as the gaps have really opened up Carrera as a result of all the developments that have happened so far in the race.
Yeah, it seems like Taylor's just struggling a bit. Of course, he's having to hesitate. We can't forget that spin that he had, so that's obviously not going to help his tyre performance. But Harv has gone to the hard, so I think Harv could easily make it to the hards.
Lap 14, and you can see all 5 of the top 5 drivers all in the same straight, in the same picture. It looks like Mitch just making a little move into the mirrors of Taylor. He's caught right up here, and he may have an opportunity for a challenge as they head down the start-finish straight. Looks like cars ahead are pitting though. Steven Tino and Mitch scream into the pits. Sorry, Taylor and Steven Tino have headed into the pits. Mitch stays out. Paul Harrison, CDM JW is your leader at the halfway point of the race. It's looking good for the red team right now.
He's binned it out of the corner before the final straight, so that's going to be crucial. If it's a safety car now, or a VSC, at least the 2 pit stoppers, Taylor and Steve Juventino, they're going to get really bad traffic now, especially if it's a safety car. But it's seeming to be fine, and it's green flag. That's where they need. But the top 3 runners now need to be wary of that, because now they need to cover that undercut.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that I think Taylor had the 5. Whoa, we've just seen a red car head off the track under traction. It was Chandler. So I was watching Pistol, who's had a fantastic drive up the field. He's still on 14 lap old mediums. I think he's been looking after them well, because he still looks like he's got a good amount of grip. Certainly better than M. Chandler, who just lost it slightly. This looks to be the trigger point for the perfect pit stop. Is it too late for some drivers on lap 14, Carrera?
Well, we're actually just around halfway there, so I mean, if we can definitely get mediums halfway, they can definitely do it with the hards. But of course, they will have that less grip, especially on the rears, and that's something they need to look out for.
CDM in the pits,
now,
Mitch in the pits, Harrison. Everyone, this is it. If you haven't pitted yet, I think this is the trigger point. This is where everyone thinks it's time to go in. What does Chris Ammett do? He's staying out on those hard tyres. What about Pistol? He's going to head into the... He's staying out. He's staying out. Wow, so bravely going on for another lap under those medium tyres. So Pistol getting past nearly everybody in the pits. He's only got Chris Ammett in front of him. Steven Tino just battling with CDM on cold hard tyres around the outside of turn 1. He really wants that place. He doesn't want to be held up with someone on cold tyres, but CDM gets ahead and comes out of the pits in 4th place. We've got Pistol, the only one still to pit off those medium tyres from the start. So he's going for a really good Sergio Perez conservation run on those tyres. Chris Ammett, though, in the lead on hard tyres with 15 laps on them. No penalties, just Chandler with a penalty still to pay at this stage of the race because of those pit stops. They've all managed to pay their penalties off. It's just a 3-second penalty for Chandler right now.
Speaking of Chandler, he just went on the grass into turn 1, took too much inside curb, so he's just spinned. We've done a drift, I would say, on the grass, but he's managed to keep it out of the wall. But as well, this is going to turn out very well for Chris. He's currently on 15 lap old hard, but if the mediums could do it, he could get them to go longer and potentially go on the soft.
Paul Harrison for second place around the outside of the hairpin. What will Pistol do in defence? Oh, they just had to bail out of that move just as the VSC was triggered. Incredible. Could there be a more perfect time for Pistol here? He's not going in the pits!
It's a very questionable overtake because Pistol did sort of overtake him after the VSC popped up.
Neither of them know what to do.
Neither of them are battling him. Now Paul Harrison leads, but Chris has boxed and he's gone for the medium. So this could be a very good result for Chris now.
Paul Harrison has got a penalty. It was Pistol who was supposed to be ahead there. He just got a 5-second penalty for ignoring those yellow flags. Just driving, or possibly just driving a little bit too quickly over around the corner. We have thankfully heard from Golden Wolf, who said he was driving really well tonight. First loss of traction all race, and it was a trip to the wall. A single mistake, Carrera, and that's the end of your race.
We've seen it from many other drivers tonight, and it really is punishing.
Another
But
apology
this is
come in
closing
to his
out.
team from Fatia. He said, terrible race, he's just spinning everywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, it must hurt, of course, but he must be happy that his team is in a very good position. P2, P4, and P6. Of course, maybe Lil Jim should have potentially had that chance to win, but that spin has taken him off. But it's looking like a good team effort from them now.
Back to green flag racing now, and Pistol will get DRS, as well as the 5-second penalty of the car in front to help him get by. Get a nice close-up view of the DRS opening, which is great, but it doesn't really tell us where he is relative to the car in front as he heads down to the hairpin. I'm not quite sure how Pistol is keeping these tyres alive. He's outdone everybody else by at least a lap. Make that 2, he's gone round again.
He's definitely going to go for a soft, looking at it right here, because I don't see why you would just stay out on very old mediums to go to the hard, because you're not maximising the tyres, so he must be going onto the softs. That would be my plan.
Wow. I'd say that's a very brave move, would you?
It depends, of course, how the driver treats the tyres. If he's kept them in a very good window and not managed to put too much pressure on the rears, then of course it's going to be good.
But when we see cars
just goes very
on just from 10 or 11 lap old mediums, that cars started to drift off, started to lose adhesion, and there he is out there on 17 lap old mediums. We'll ride on board with him and see how he's coping.
Yeah, he took the left-hander very slowly, really hesitating both on the rear and the front. So he is losing a bit of time to Paul Harrison. Of course, Paul Harrison on much fresher tyres, so that should be the case.
Half's getting the lap times in. Fastest lap for half.
Versus mediums. Hard coming back though, but he's still very far back off the points here, so
yeah,
he does need to really pick up the pace.
Yeah, Pistol's really struggling, isn't he? With Paul Harrison, he was with him just this same period 1 lap ago, and he's now nearly paid his penalty off relative to Pistol. With how gentle Pistol's having to be on these tyres. Does he go in the pits this time? He does not. He stays out. He must be stretching, as you say, stretching to get the softs on. We're hoping for the field to finally open up a little bit, but here comes CDMJW behind him. He's caught him already, and he's on young, fresh, hard tyres. He's pitted to the end, so Pistol won't want to lose too much race time following, trying to fight and battle CDM. They're on completely different strategies, and it'll be counterproductive to his race. Having said that, CDM has really spent a lot of ERS here, Carrera, for this stage in the race at least.
19% through, now currently 16%, but you can see how much faster he's taking the corner than Pistol.
Yeah.
It is hard, so technically you should have less grip, but of course at this stage of the race, only 2 lap old hards versus 18 lap old mediums. And Pistol's struggling on the grip, and it's a VSC. The question is now, does that VSC last enough for Pistol to box?
It'd be unusual, wouldn't it? But at least it will help him get round the next few corners if he can't keep the car on the island. If it's getting that desperate, it will certainly help him get through to the pit lane. Whether it lasts through the pits is, I think, is a big ask. I don't know who that affected. I'm not seeing someone drop down too dramatically, so maybe we had a little bit of contact further down the grid, although cars are all quite far away from each other. CDM caught unawares by the late braking of Pistol, and then Mitch almost barreled onto the pair of them. Really difficult.
And Pistol's going in the pits.
Oh, he's gone in.
Perfect scenario for him.
It really is. Nice cheap pit stop for Pistol. How long will we remain yellow flag conditions? Because if Pistol can come out of the pits, and look at where little Jim is now. He's back up to 5th place. Make that 4th. As Pistol is going to try and get 8 laps out of those softs. Should be okay, Carrera.
Yeah, if he's definitely managed to get 18 lap old mediums to this point, I think he can definitely get 8 laps of the softs.
We have a very long
nicely.
VSC
and as
here.
he comes out, it's green flag. And this is going to help him because he's got 2 cars ahead of him, who I believe are on much slower tyres, mediums and hard. So he's going to be right on the back of these people and these runners.
Absolutely, yeah. He's will keep a good eye on Pistol. P7 right now on lap 20. How many places can he gain by the end of the race for the green team, who look like they're in for some good points today? They've got Paul Harrison on lap 20. Paul Harrison for the red team on P1. CDM in P2 for the blues, and then we've got a pair of green teammates, Mitch and Lil Jim, in third and fourth, with Chris Summit in fifth, Mr. Spin in sixth, with Pistol Racing, another green car, in seventh place. So it really does look like they're on for a good bag of points tonight. In terms of penalties, our leader has a 5-second penalty now, but a 5-second gap to the car behind. Mitch with a 3-second penalty, which shouldn't worry him too much. He's got a nice cushion to Little Jim as well. And then Chandler has just that 3-second penalty we mentioned before to pay off further down the grid. Mr. Spin, the highest yellow driver tonight. So we've seen no end of changes in position through the race. Mitch having made up 14 places at this point, Carrera.
Yes, very good job from an amazing drive. Imagine coming from the back to the podium positions. So, as well, he is ever so slightly dropping from CDM, but he does look clear of Lil Jim. Of course, he's got to take that 3 seconds penalty, so that can hurt him. But as well, CDM just keeping next to Paul Harrison within, just outside that 5-second penalty zone.
Here comes Pistol. Half fastest lap again, is it? Right. Pistol on the hunt. He's caught right up behind Mr. Spin. He's got bags more grip. He's almost going to get him, overtake him on traction alone. But they head down to the left-hander. And I think it's only a matter of time before Pistol gets by. Everybody now should be pitted to the end, Carrera. Looks like this will be our sprint to the finish. We've got 7 laps remaining as Pistol does indeed get up to P6. Looks like he's just getting some attention.
In the wall. He's trying to go to the pit lane. He's got damage. He has to pit, and he's been disqualified for going the wrong way. It's completely gone away from Team Blue and CDM.
He did a Lewis Hamilton 2007 in China in the pit lane. Incredible poor luck there from CDM, who's out of the race. That promotes Mitch up to P2 at this stage. Amazing. Taylor with the fastest lap now, 33.2. The times are coming down. I'm surprised it's not Pistol up there on these soft tyres, but he is navigating some traffic. The shape of the race changes once again as Pistol up to P5. He's got Chris Summer ahead of him, and then quite a big gap to the podium. So I think fourth might be the most the Pistol can hope for out of this race, Carrera. What do you think?
Definitely he's eating these tyres to get crisp as well. This has been horrible for Team Blue. P15, P16, P17. But those bottom 3 blue drivers retiring. And of course their other blue driver, Team Blue driver, Sanchez, P11. So he's not going to get any points unless he makes a move on Chandler, which he does have a penalty. But as well, this is going to be mega for Team Green. P2 and P3. If Pistol can get Chris, that could be P2,
another
P3,
VSC.
P4.
Have we had a clear 5 laps of racing tonight, Carrera? I really am not sure.
Very surprised to see a VSC actually happen. I didn't see anyone off.
No.
Go down the time boards.
The trigger for the VSC or the safety car conditions must be quite tight on this track to do with track limits or people skipping across the grass or something. Maybe it's debris. Maybe there's a little bit of floor breaks off on a curb and we end up with a VSC for debris.
Yeah, there is a close battle for P10, Chandler, Harv and Sanchez, so they are one of the groups that are very near to each other, so maybe they could have made some damage to one of the cars, so that could be a possibility, of course, as well, further up the field, I should say. Chris, Pistol, and Mr. Spin as well nearby, and Mr. Spin gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC.
Is there something that hasn't affected the yellow team tonight? I'm just staggered by the luck they've had. Well, they can get away. They can get rid of their entire season of bad luck in one race. I think they'll take it. But what a shambles for the yellow team. Your heart goes out to them. It must be so difficult to deal with. Mr. Spin, another penalty then, and Pistol resumes his battle. He over-egged it slightly under the safety car. You see him really going slowly to try and catch his delta back before the next timing beam came along. But he's all throttle now. Chris Samet defending, well, starting to weave at least down the main straight. But Pistol has got DRS. He's forced around the outside. He's not going to put himself in that dangerous position, and he goes for an undercut. Tucks up neatly under the rear wing.
To make Team Yellow's day even worse, Harv has spun, and I believe he might have damage. He does. He has no front wing. This has gone bad to worse. And as Mr. Spin loses out on the place as he pits for that drive-through.
Pistol going for that sneaky inside move in turn one. But Chris Summer is putting in the defence of his life around the inside there. Good racing room left from both drivers. But Pistol almost pushing Chris Summer down the second straight. But Chris's defence is huge. He's got a little bit late on the brakes. Can Pistol get ahead? No, he's in the dirty section of track. He can't get traction away from there. Still being patient, but this is costing him his overall race time. He really wanted to get higher up, get closer to that podium. You never know if someone's going to have a problem. Another penalty for track limits for Harv, unfortunately, as he dives into the pits. Is this going to... Yeah, I think this is a bit of a retirement run for Harv. I think we'll see him flash up shortly. He's triggered a 5-second pit entry. I think he might have had enough today. We'll wait and see, but I think that's going to be a retirement pretty soon. Pistol then into the long straight. He waits till the last possible second to come out. I think he's got him on DRS under braking. He's got great grip under brakes, and finally Pistol, after about a lap of trying there, and great defence from Chris Samet, Pistol does get by, and I fully expect him to disappear now with a clear track ahead. He's got DRS for his rival behind, but I think he's going to have enough grip to get away here, and we'll keep an eye on that gap as much as possible. Chris Samet is not ready to give up though. He's still pushing Carrera. He really wants this back.
Yeah, all he can do now is hope that Pistol has really absolutely destroyed those soft tyres. Of course, they are 4 laps old, while Chris is on, I believe, 7. Yes, 7 laps. So all Chris can hope for now is Pistol's tyres to go off.
Yeah, he really is going to have to treat them so gently now, Pistol. The current fastest lap lies with Taylor again. Remember, he got fastest lap last race, so he'll be wanting to get that again just as a matter of pride for the red team, but it will only be worth 1 point as long as he can stay in the top 10. We do have Paul Harrison has a 5-second penalty at the moment, which won't trouble him from the car behind, but Mitch may well lose out to Little Jim on the podium. The trigger is 3 seconds, and it is hovering between 3.2 and 2.8 seconds again. I think we're going to have a penalty watch interval to keep an eye on the last couple of laps again, Carrera, like last week.
Yeah, it's not the nice way to end the race, of course, losing out due to penalties.
Absolutely.
But we spoke about Taylor keeping that 1 point from the fastest lap. Harv, surprisingly, with all those penalties he picked up from the pit lane.
Great analysis from AWS. As Chris is going around the outside of turn 1, we're showing much higher tyre wear for Pistol. It looks like that moment of tyre wear has triggered for Pistol versus his rival Chris Samet, who looks like he's now got better grip, and the hunter becomes the hunted, because now roles are reversed and Chris Samet has the opportunity here to really push Pistol right to the end, and that Pistol has dropped back from Little Jim ahead of him considerably now, 10 seconds back, and he's now on the defensive for the rest of this race.
Yeah, it's really critical for Chris. He needs to get good points. Pistol losing the race slightly there, really struggling, you can see, but it's so critical for Team Blue. They've only got Sanchez as well with points, P9, only 2 points he's gaining from that, so he needs to get as many points as he can do for Team Blue.
I see Taylor get a penalty there. I think he's just going for fastest lap points. Harv gets one, takes it off Taylor, but doesn't earn it for himself because he's not in the top 10. So it's a trading blows. Harv versus Taylor on the fastest lap. It's too much to watch. There's a yellow car. Turn round. Just on the way.
Speaking of that, there's another yellow car, Mr. Spin. Just had a spin. So 2 yellow cars spinning at the same time.
We have 2 racing laps to run. I don't know if we'll get there without another caution as Pistol forces Chris Samet to the outside. Every little move Chris Samet made, forcing Pistol to go offline in the attack a few laps ago. Every little move he made contributed to the situation that Pistol now finds himself in, trying to stretch these soft tyres to the end of the race, Carrera.
Yeah, speaking of the bad luck for Team Yellow, F1 Antoine went into the wall at the pit lane. He's done a Lewis Hamilton, he's got damage. I don't know if I believe it's lap 27, he could potentially fight for fast lap. The question is, where is Paul Harrison?
Chris Samet on lap 27 got back past Pistol. So he's trying to get in between those green cars and succeeding right now. The gap between Mitch and Lil Jim is over 3 seconds all of a sudden. Wow, this is really nail-biting stuff to the end of the race here. A reminder, Mitch has gained a tremendous amount of places in this race. 15 so far. I don't think he's going any higher than 15, but 15 place gain.
Cars into the wall in the final corner, Harv and Mr. Spin.
Astonishing. I'm going to stay with Pistol and Chris Samet here, but there's only so much time, screen time we can wait for a yellow car to spin around, unfortunately. But thanks for keeping the track of that as we start the final lap. Pistol comes back at Chris Samet with DRS, spending his ERS as well, and gets through on the inside. Are these two going to take this right to the end of the race? I really hope so, because this has been a battle for the ages between these two drivers. I know they're both staff members of the league, so they're very, very keen to put one over each other. It does look like Little Jim's tyres are starting to go into yellow condition as they're lapping one of the yellow cars here. I think that must well be, is it Antoine? I think it is. Further down the road though, Little Jim has got within that 3-second window to Mitch. Will we see Little Jim up on the podium after his win last week? On second place potentially. Paul Harrison though, having gained 2 places, will be coming towards the end of his race, and I'll keep an eye on Pistol and Chris Samet at the same time as Paul Harrison heading down into the final time into the hairpin. We've got a 2.8 second gap between second and third. That's not going to worry Paul Harrison for the red team. Takes a red team win in China. What a race from Paul Harrison, but talk about performance. Here comes Mitch, 15 places up. We'll see if Little Jim can spoil that party. He does. Little Jim just by 2.5 tenths of a second. He gets that tremendous second place, and Pistol will hold on. He will. No, he won't. He got a penalty in the last corner. After all that work, a penalty in the final corner spoils Pistol's amazing battle with Chris Samet. So Chris Samet takes 4th. We've got Eat My Dust in 6th. H. Taylor, forgive me for shouting. I hope your ears are going to be okay. Carrera, but Taylor will be coming round to finish this lap off. We've got Steven Tino in 8th. SR Sanchez in 9th. He'll be the last one, I think, to cross the line, will he? Or will Taylor still make it to finish without being lapped? But Harv successfully prevented the fastest lap going to Taylor in the end, who was clocking up either fastest laps or track limit abuse penalties. But yeah, the most crucial one of all was that one for Pistol right at the death. Astonishing finish. What an amazing race that was, Carrera. I'm going to climb down off the ceiling now, I think.
Yeah, it's such a shame for Pistol. Really put a lot of effort to try and keep that P4, but yeah, they were going into the chicane side by side, Pistol and CDM, so it was very close. But it produced some good action.
Well, there's your winner, Paul Harrison, wearing completely the wrong overalls. He's going to have to fix that. I'm pretty sure his team are not going to be very impressed. Little Jim, as we said, nabbed that second place by 2/10 at the end, and great, amazing performance, of course, there from Mitch. Carrera, once you've taken us through the finishing order, we will be able to talk to our drivers very shortly.
Yeah, so Paul Harrison for Team Red, amazing job, P1. Lil Jim coming back after that spin for P2. P3, Mitch, amazing comeback, driver of the day. Not surprised by that. Chris, P4, and Pistol, P5. Eat My Dust, P6 with Taylor, following behind P7. Steve Juventino, crucial points for him as the yellow team all outside the points except him. SR Sanchez P9 with Chandler finishing the points position. Harv, race to forget for him, P11 with Mr. Spin in P12, and Antoine in P13 finishing the drivers that finished this Grand Prix with CDM in P14, KRC P15, Golden Wolf, Broke Gorilla, and Martin.
Yeah, we lost Martin right at the very beginning of the race as well. I think I saw the highest finisher I saw enter the chat so far was Little Jim. Little Jim, are you with us?
Yep.
Wow, that was quite a tight battle right to the death. It looks like you got that second place by 2/10.
Yeah, he was a fucking rocket ship down the straight line. Sorry if I can't swear.
Yeah, it was. He drove a tremendous race. Was there any part of you that thought, I really don't want to take it off him? He's had such a good race up to now.
Oh no, I wanted to overtake him.
It looked like our drivers were really struggling. Past about 12 laps on the mediums tonight. How did the tyre life, the exit curb traction and things like that affect you through the race tonight?
Well, on the mediums, I seem to have really, really good traction off of the slower speed corners compared to some people. But once I had those two spins, I don't want to risk taking them much further than lap 12, 13, so I picked for the hards, and then I wasn't really the same with the comfort level then.
Excellent. Yeah, it looked like you had good speed. Were you ever tempted to push in hard enough for the fastest lap?
If there was a full-on safety car, I would have picked for either mediums or softs, and I would have went for it. But not on those hards. I would have been in the wall. Yeah.
Well, congratulations! Great race. It's been a lot of fun and really, really good performance by the whole green team, really. And they'll take home the lion's share of the points tonight. Well done, Lil Jim. Second place tonight. I don't know, Pistol. Did we get Paul on the chat yet?
No, I don't think he's actually got a microphone, so I don't think he's going to be able to join us tonight.
Okay. Well, I'll check the chat and see if anyone else, if he does say anything. Did Chris Summit join us?
Chris has joined. Yeah, Chris is in.
Me and
Chris had quite a great battle, didn't we, Chris?
Yes, it was super, Pete. I mean, I was sweating all along. Your defending and your tires did really last very long. The soft tires. I'm quite surprised. I thought you were going to pit eventually, but you never pitted.
No, I didn't change tyres until lap 19. I had some really good, like my wear on the mediums was surprisingly amazing. Like I think 19 laps in. The only reason I did pit was because of the VSC and it was optimal timing for me. But I was prepping to go to lap 22 on the mediums because my tyre wear was only in the mid 40s when I pitted. So I don't quite know how, but I'm really happy about that. And I knew from I did a practice session earlier. I did not want to get on the hards because the hards I could not drive them. I was just terrible on them. So
the hards are very not slow, but they take a lot of time to rise up their temperatures. So
well, your tyre wear tonight, Pistol. Your tyre wear tonight was tremendous. I think I'm going to call you Pistol Perez from now on. That was quite. I mean, you were probably 5 laps more than anybody else had a successful run on those mediums, but it did look like Chris's defence was what really chewed up your softs towards the end.
I knew the softs were going to go hard. They were going to go, and they were going to go quick. I think I was close to 57% when we crossed the line, but I had to take that opportunity for the VSC. I didn't know if another one was coming, and with 9 laps to go, I had a feeling I could make him stretch, so I did. And I think what surprised me most was Chris's pace. Once I managed to get past him using the DRS,
no shade on Chris, I'm sure. No shade on Chris there, I'm sure.
No, it was hard, clean, and I think it was fantastic. I mean, I really enjoyed racing.
We stuck with it for ages on the stream. It was a really, really enjoyable battle.
I'm looking forward to watching it back, guys. I mean, I think there was one point. I think it was when I just got past Chris, and the entire first sector of the next lap, we literally were right alongside each other, both seeing each other's arrows and really making sure that we kept it clean, kept it fair, and I'll be honest with you, it's probably got to be one of the best league battles I've had in terms of attacking. Like, I've had some great ones defending, but attacking, and I think that's got to have been the best battle, and I'm glad that I got to see it drive like Chris.
A little early in the race there, Pistol, there was some confusion on one of the many VSC periods we had. Were you and Paul confused as to who had the place before the VSC was called?
No. So I knew Paul had passed me when the VSC had called, but how the corner was taken, I ended up in front of him, and I got can you give the position back a legal overtake? So gotcha. I did. And then the second Paul slammed on the brakes, I knew it was going to be a case of, he's going to get it or I'm going to get it. And like, if I pass him again, that's going to come back on me, and then it's going to be tit for tat. But obviously I had to look out for my race. Paul had pitted and he was in first. He can get that penalty removed. If I go into the pits and I have to serve that penalty, that's cars I've got to pass. So all amazing credit to Paul. He raced a fantastic race, and once he got past me, I could not keep up with him. I just couldn't. But he was obviously on fresh hards and I was on very warm mediums, but it was an unfortunate experience. Like, it was unfortunate Cody's is what I'm going to call it. We had it in the race in Tier 1 last week as well, so I'm hoping they work that bug out. But it was a bit of who's to who, but I'm glad it didn't affect Paul's race. I'm glad it obviously didn't affect my race. I got to have that amazing battle with Chris, which wouldn't have happened otherwise, because I'd have had to serve that 5 seconds in the pits. So
that's true. Yeah,
it was a fantastic series of events.
Well, Chris, while we've still got you, how do you view your strategy in light of the battle you had at the end? Would you do anything differently, looking at it now?
To be fair, I think my strategy was gonna be slightly different. It was gonna be similar to Peter, but with the difference that I started with the hards. I wanted to go as long as I could with the hards, maybe till lap 22, and then go for softs, maybe get the fastest lap, and also have a very, very fast pace at the end of the race. But the VSC changed my plans, basically. I had to go I thought that mediums were the best tire strategy at the time. And I think it was a 50-50 between mediums and softs, and that's why we had a very close racing between myself and Pistol.
Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree. I think the caution periods ruined absolutely everybody's intended plans tonight, and it was about staying on the edge of your wits the whole time, it seemed.
They actually improved mine, to be fair, because I was intending to do a 2-stop on.
Yeah, of course,
I was going to do medium, soft, but because of the safety car, because of the VSCs, I stretched those mediums further than I thought possible, and so it kind of played into my hands. I might be one of the few drivers that did, but I guess I kind of anticipate in any league race, I always anticipate at least one safety car. So
yeah, no, that's true. We had a very long early physical safety car, and then several virtuals.
4 laps.
Yeah. Well, what a race!
Guys, to be fair, this track, China, it's surprisingly very good on tires. I think the medium soft strategy can go long enough, but of course you will have a lot of heat in your tires. But for the rest, it's a doable strategy, soft or mediums, for example.
Yeah. Agreed. Carrera, you've been listening to all the interviews. Any questions or standout thoughts from your perspective?
Yeah, what was your... We saw obviously you lost the position to Pistol, of course, but did you feel like the mediums were starting to come back to you, and did you feel that Pistol was starting to struggle, of course, going on?
I was kind of expecting it. I was kind of expecting it, yes, because I have made some practices in China, and I felt that the softs would have their temperatures risen very, very quickly. So I thought that in a lap or two I was going to get back at him. Definitely. So basically, yes. But I was surprised at a moment because he was freakishly fast, and I wasn't expecting that he was going to be very, very close to me. And eventually it came out to be a very, very good battle.
Yeah, well, either way, it came out to your favour, and you must be very happy to take that 4th place off Pistol.
Yes, so, I'm happy with the place. I started at P10. The wet weather didn't help because I had a couple of mistakes, which led to me starting at P10. But I had the strategy in mind. Maybe not all went to plan because of the virtual safety car, but eventually, yes, I'm quite happy with P4 and how everything fared. Even P5 would have been good, to be fair, because it was an intensive race.
Yes. I must admit, I was heartbroken. It was the final corner. I got a 3-second penalty on for track limits. Yeah. And I actually thought I had one, not saying that I was pushing track limits, but you just see the pop up in the top of your screen, and you're like, I wanted to cry. I was just like, oh my God, no! It was just insane.
We couldn't believe it watching along. We would just, it was, it got to fever pitch at the end, and make no apologies, it was a tremendous race. Well guys, it's getting a bit late. I know that someone's been heat breathing quite heavily, so someone's been working pretty hard, and I'm sure that you could all do with a drink and a lie down after that one. What a great race. Credit to OBF1 for this race structure, for the quality of the racing we saw tonight, and the hard fought battles. Great race. Remember, everyone watching on stream, thank you for your engagement. Remember to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will hope to see you all again the same time next week, Monday Night Racing, for this Power Ranger team versus team battle. And thanks to Carrera in the booth for everything. All the support he gives, and of course everybody's patience with the typical difficulties getting in the lobby earlier on as well. Great race, great racing, and thanks to everyone, and we will catch you all on the next race day.
Thanks very much.